Hello. We left off the last episode of Dragon Age Inquisition. We were finishing up the quests in the hinterlands. They never end, but that's what we're going to do today is finish up a lot more of those, and then also make sure that we get Horsemaster Dennett. So we need to, I believe, go back to Haven and make sure that those war table thingies are done so that we can get him to come join the Inquisition. Anywho. I also like to try to have a conversation with everyone each time I come to Haven.
Do you need something?
Can you tell me more about the Seekers?
The Seekers of Truth were born from the original Inquisition long ago, when it united with the Chantry. Seekers stood above the Templars, watching over them but also investigating magical events they couldn't handle. We were meant to be incorruptible, above reproach. How seldom does reality match the ideal?
Why did your order turn against the Chantry?
We originally united with the Chantry through a treaty that stated they would keep mages under control. It was felt Most Holy had tacitly allowed the Circle of Magi to vote on its independence, thus breaking the treaty. The Seekers saw themselves as justified, and they led the Templars into a war of righteousness.
You sound like you disagree.
We knew what was happening at Kirkwall, where the Mage Rebellion began. We looked into reports of Knight Commander Meredith's harsh treatment of her charges years earlier. But we found so many shocking cases of magical corruption, it was decided her actions were justified. If we'd been there when it happened, if we'd looked harder at the root causes.
You seem to care a great deal about it.
Too much, if you ask the rest of my order. When faced with a problem, the Seekers would close ranks and crush it. We would find an answer, but only once we felt we weren't being coerced. The moment the mages voted for independence, our response was predictable. It was difficult to watch.
I've no more questions.
And I also forgot we can finally have a conversation with Koliwali, maybe flirt a little bit.
You there. There's a shield in your hand. Block with it. If this man were your enemy, you'd be dead. Lieutenant, don't hold back. The recruits must prepare for a real fight, not a practice one.
Yes, Commander.
We've received a number of recruits. Locals from Haven and some pilgrims. None made quite the entrance you did.
At least I got everyone's attention.
That you did. I was recruited to the Inquisition in Kirkwall myself. I was there during the Mage Uprising. I saw firsthand the devastation it caused.
Sir.
Cassandra sought a solution. When she offered me a position, I left the Templars to join her cause. Now it seems we face something far worse.
I must have this mark for a reason. It will work. I'm sure of it.
Provided we can secure aid, but I'm confident we can. The Chantry lost control of both Templars and Mages. Now they argue over a new divine while the breach remains. The Inquisition could act when the Chantry cannot. Our followers would be part of that. There's so much we can... Forgive me. I doubt you came here for a lecture.
No, but if you have one prepared, I'd love to hear it.
Another time, perhaps. There's still a lot of work ahead.
Commander, Sir Ryden has a report on our supply lines.
As I was saying. You traveled some distance to reach Haven. You're from the Circle in Ostwick?
I spent the better part of my life there. It feels strange to be away.
It does at times. I'm still getting used to it myself. It's been interesting. I'm sorry. The Circle isn't the most pleasant topic of conversation right now, or ever. Shall we speak of something else?
Is there anything I should know?
The Lord Seeker's actions are a mystery, but the Templars will aid us. They cannot sit idle while the breach remains.
Why would Templars break away from the Chantry?
The Order believes the Chantry no longer supports their efforts. Not to the extent they should.
But the Templars have served the Chantry for ages.
And in that time, they've come to take the Order's services for granted. Templars risk their lives against blood magic, demons, abominations, to feel as if those efforts are dismissed. I may disagree with the Order's actions, but I'm here as proof of that. But I sympathize with their frustrations.
What do you think of the people you work with?
Who do you mean?
What do you think of our ambassador?
We have little in common. How she delights in meeting with nobles all day is beyond me. But I enjoy working with her.
How do you like working with Leliana?
The Inquisition would not exist without her. I may not always agree with her methods, but she's more passionate about our cause than anyone. Cassandra may have declared the Inquisition publicly, but Liliana is just as responsible for its formation.
Are you satisfied with the Inquisition's forces?
Our numbers are small, but they suit our needs for the time being. Some Templars have joined us instead of following the Order. They've proven invaluable in training new recruits.
I should let you get back to work.
Yes?
I'd like to know more about the Templars.
If you need insight into what the Order is doing now, I'm afraid I can't offer more than you already know. Anything else, I will answer as best I can.
What does Templar training involve?
There is weapon and combat training. Even without their abilities, Templars are among the best warriors in Thedas. Initiates must also memorize portions of the Chant of Light, study history, and improve their mental focus.
Did you enjoy your training?
I wanted to learn everything. If I was giving my life to this, I would be the best Templar I could.
You were a model student.
I wanted to be. I wasn't always successful. Watching a candle burn down while reciting the Chant of Transfigurations wasn't the most exciting task. I admit, my mind sometimes wandered.
Do Templars take vows? I swear to the Maker to watch all the mages. That sort of thing.
There's a vigil first. You're meant to be at peace during that time, but your life is about to change. When it's over, you give yourself to a life of service. That's when you're given a filter, your first draft of Lyrian and its power. As Templars, we are not to seek wealth or acknowledgement. Our lives belong to the Maker and the path we have chosen.
A life of service and sacrifice. Are Templars also expected to give up physical temptations?
Physical? Why... why would you... That's not expected. Templars can marry, although there are rules around it, and the Order must grant permission. Some may choose to give up more to prove their devotion, but it's not required.
Have you?
Me? No. I've taken no such vows. Maker's breath. Can we speak of something else?
Prior to the Conclave, I'd only encountered Templars in the Circle. Do they do anything besides guard mages?
Templars protect against the dangers of magic. Before the Order left the Chantry, that meant serving in a circle. They were also tasked with tracking apostates or fighting demons inevitably summoned by the weak or malicious.
What do you think of mages? Are they all a threat?
I've seen the suffering magic can inflict. I've treated mages with distrust because of it, at times without cause. That was unworthy of me. I will try not to do so here. Not that I want mages moving through our base completely unchecked. We need safeguards in place to protect people, including mages, from possession at the least.
I know how I spent my time in the Circle, but what was a typical day for a Templar?
Typical. The last time I was in a circle was right before it fell apart. Nothing was typical.
Before that, then?
Certain rituals require a full guard. A mage's harrowing, for instance. I've attended a few. Most of the time, you merely maintain a presence, on patrol or in the circle, ready to respond if needed. Mages pretend to ignore that presence, but they're watching you just as closely.
We would spend all day with Templars, and yet they rarely spoke to us.
A habit often mistaken for coldness, I'm sure. But we are expected to keep a certain distance from our charges. If a mage is possessed or uses blood magic, you must act quickly, without hesitation. Your judgment cannot be clouded. Of course, ignoring one another does nothing to foster understanding.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
I'm sure you have other matters to attend.
So if we get better horses, you think that'll make a difference?
Master Dennett's horses in the hinterlands are faster and stronger than anything we've got here. A good horse can make all the difference. The mare I grew up with saved my life. She died.
I'm sorry. Well, like you said, a good horse can make all the difference. Make her be with you.
Master Harry said that without more ore, he won't be able to get blades for the recruits.
Tell...
Yes? Anything I should know?
I've nothing to report at the moment.
I'll leave you to your work.
How can you be so calm with everything we believe going into question?
It's good you've returned. We heard of your encounter.
You heard?
My agents in the city sent word ahead, of course.
It's a shame the Templars have abandoned their senses, as well as the capital.
At least we know how to approach the mages and Templars now.
Do we? Lord Seeker Lucius is not the man I remember.
True, he has taken the orders somewhere, but to do what? My reports have been very odd.
We must look into it. I'm certain not everyone in the Order will support the Lord Seeker.
Or the Herald could simply go to meet the mages in Redcliffe instead.
You think the Mage Rebellion is more united? It could be 10 times worse.
I don't think it matters what you pick in this particular situation because you end up choosing mages or Templars actually on the war table or like on the map itself. So I always pick the mages. It's just what I do, especially if I am a mage. except for the first time I ever played. I picked Templars because I wanted to make Cullen happy, but it turns out it doesn't really matter to him, and I think you get an extra quest with him if you pick mages. Anyway.
I could at least find out what the mages want.
No doubt what they've always wanted. Support for their cause.
We shouldn't discount Redcliffe. The mages may be worth the risk.
They are powerful, Ambassador, but more desperate than you realize.
You think the invitation could be some kind of trap?
If some among the rebel mages were responsible for what happened at the Conclave.
The same could be said about the Templars.
True enough. Right now, I'm not certain we have enough influence to approach the Order safely.
Then the Inquisition needs agents in more places. That's something you can help with.
In the meantime, we should consider other options.
There is one other matter. Several months ago, the Grey Wardens of Ferelden vanished. I sent word to those in Orlais, but they have also disappeared. Ordinarily, I wouldn't even consider the idea they're involved in all this, but the timing is curious.
That does sound odd. I agree.
The others have disregarded my suspicion, but I cannot ignore it. 2 days ago, my agents in the hinterlands heard news of a Grey Warden by the name of Blackwall. If you have the opportunity, please seek him out. Perhaps he can put my mind at ease.
And if he can't?
Then there may be more going on than we thought.
Excuse me. I've got a message for the Inquisition, but I'm having a hard time getting anyone to talk to me.
What's the message?
We've got word of some Tevinter mercenaries gathering out on the Storm Coast. My company commander, Iron Bull, offers the information free of charge. If you'd like to see what the Bull's charges can do for the Inquisition, meet us there and watch us work.
I look forward to meeting this Iron Bull.
We're the best you'll find. Come to the Storm Coast and you can see us in action.
Sometimes I like to remind myself to look up in video games because it's something that people forget a lot. And you'll miss a lot. Like, look at how nice they made this ceiling look. Anyway, it's just something I try to remind myself to do because someone took their time and a lot of people don't look up.
Place in my throat.
I have heard rumors of a...
Ah, Lady Trevelyan. May I have a moment?
Yes, Ambassador?
I'd like to discuss your parents.
What would you like to know?
I'd like to dispatch a courier asking the bands of House Trevelyan to align themselves with us. What are your thoughts? Should we approach your family for their formal support of the Inquisition?
If that's what you want, I'll send a letter to my family. They'll respect the request if it comes from me.
Wonderful. That will save time. Val Royeaux has noted your lineage. It gives the Inquisition some legitimacy, although not so much as we'd hoped.
Why not?
You are from Ostwick. Orlesian nobles consider the free marches somewhat quaint.
Even though I'm a mage, that doesn't give them pause.
You're not an unfamiliar sight. Mages from noble families are given more leeway. Besides, Ostwick's circle had a reputation for being rather sedate.
You could do as you pleased if it didn't bother anyone. Rest, study, find a hobby. The worst fight I saw was 2 Templars scuffling over a tavern bill.
You didn't encounter any difficulty with the Templars?
Templars at Ostwick were even-handed enough. A few were almost friendly.
Commander Cullen will be pleased. For a man no longer with the Order, he takes its faults quite personally. This place is no bastion of civilization, not like the Circle. I hope you don't find the living conditions in Haven too drastic for someone of your station.
Don't worry about me. Haven's more than livable.
Really? If that is how you feel, I'm pleased to hear it. Until next time, my lady.
If you find anything, please bring it in.
Did you see the message I sent?
Yes, thank you.
To work?
Once we have this build watchtowers mission done, we can go back to Horsemaster Dennett. Make sure you do the wolves quest and turn in this watchtowers thing. I think you have to do those before you can ask him to come join the Inquisition. It also helps if you have Cassandra with you to be like, hey, are you Andrastian? Anyway.
Let's see what we have.
At your service.
Nothing to report, sir.
Constellation Paraquialis, referred to as Voyager in common parlance, the constellation Paraquialis is commonly depicted as a ship, no ordinary ship, but rather the primitive vessels sailed by ancient peoples such as the Neromenians. The translation from ancient to Veen is usually across the sea and lends credence to the idea that the Neromenians came to Thetis from elsewhere, although most reputable scholars dispute this, especially considering those ancient peoples would likely have named these stars long before they undertook such a voyage. From A Study of Theodosian Astronomy by Sister Oran Patrakius.
What manner of fire is that?
I have heard of this, but never seen it before. It is called Veil Fire. It is a form of sympathetic magic, a memory of flame that burns in this world where the veil is thin.
So we're taking the magical fire with us?
The runes are interacting somehow with the flame from the torch. A weapon enchantment. This could be quite useful.
Not fancy, but it fills the belly.
You can never do that again, Nano. We're in this together.
Ah, but we both lived. Listen to your elders, girl.
I believe there's a little map that will lead back to this little pile of dirt at some point. I'm just trying to remember it. Mafarath Repentant, a statue of Mafarath grieving after the death of his wife, the prophet Andraste, whom he betrayed out of jealousy. A note found on a corpse. Bergeret, it'll be worth it. You worry too much. I've seen you hunt. You and that bow go together like the Maker and Andraste's sweet bosom, and there's nothing in this world that'll keep breathing after you take your axe to it. And believe me, once you've gotten enough of the bear claws, and remember they need to be big. Really good-sized ones. I don't want you coming back with some cub slashers and a sad dog grin on your face. We'll make something that will make both of us rich. Think of the girls in Redcliffe hanging on your arm, Bergeret. It's a strong arm, my friend. Strong enough to kill 3 bears and bring those claws back. You take care of that, and that arm will have a nice lady to wrap around at night. Good luck. Don't come back without the claws. Jasker.
It seems the Ferelden army has chosen to stay clear. For now.
So I wanted to come over here to get the Druffalo quest and do the wolves or whatever, but then I saw this rift, and you'll know if you're too low level for something. I'm playing on casual, so I probably could have done it, but you'll know you're too low level for something if you see the little red skulls on creatures. So not quite ready to close this rift yet.
We've been searching the region for resources. Commander's orders. No small task given recent troubles, but I've some supplies here you may find useful.
These must be the wolves Master Dennett's wife warned us about.
That cave could be the lair of our strange wolves.
A demon!
With the demon dead, the farmers should be safe from the wolves.
I expect the wolves are also pleased to be freed from the demon's control.
Whoa!
Here!
At some point, I'm going to end up fast forwarding through this Druffalo quest because I've never had so many issues. And any of the other times I've played this game, this freaking Druffalo did not want to follow me, at least across the campsite and the water next to it. Like, I don't know what was going on, but the Druffalo this time was being super annoying.
Think you'll ever go back to Navarra, Seeker?
Why? Are you eager to see me go?
I wasn't, actually. But now that you mention it...
How do you know I wouldn't just drag you along?
Be still, my heart. I've grown on you.
Like fungus.
Thank you. I appreciate you finding her, and I'll see to it that this never happens again.
You deal with the wolves, and our farmers will be safe again.
The wolves should be back to normal now. There shouldn't be any further trouble.
That's good to hear. I'll send word to the farmers and let my husband know what you've done. It may not seem like much, but you've given this land hope it desperately needed. Thank you.
Whoa! The area ahead is well defended. Be ready.
Constellation Draconis, called High Dragon in common parlance, the constellation Draconis is always depicted by a dragon in flight. Recently, it has come into question whether this was the case in the ancient Imperium. Most Tevinter dragon imagery was reserved for the old gods, so why did they dedicate a constellation to dragons in general when specific dragons were held in such reverence? This speculation is fueled by older drawings showing Draconis as more serpentine in appearance, perhaps depicting a sea creature or an unknown eighth old god that was stricken from historical record. From A Study of Theodosian Astronomy by Sister Oran Patrachius.
Nothing to report, sir.
Okay, this is a good place for me to stop today's episode before it gets too long. So glad there wasn't as much reading as last time. So next time, we will get Horsemaster Dennett. We will work on getting more of our companions once I decide to get out of the hinterlands. There are more map areas that I can unlock. I like to do as much of the hinterlands as possible before I do that. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!